The Star Wars movies you never even noticed. Number 10, The Jabba's Palace Dug, Return of the Jedi. By the time the 2011 Blu-ray release of the saga came around, pretty much everything tamperable had already been messed with, leading to some of the most banal, pointless changes of all, noteworthy only by their sheer ridiculousness. Case in point, just before Luke enters Jabba's palace in the first act of Episode 6, you can now see a CGI dug, subbulbous species, padding across the room, for some reason. What's so special about this guy that he's walking around the palace alone during communal nap time? I feel like the shot would actually make a lot more sense with the sound of a toilet flushing somewhere in the distance as he rounds the corner. The whole thing just sticks out so much and begs context that just doesn't exist. Furthermore, the CGI here is so poor that it genuinely looks like it's been lifted from a fan-made Star Wars animation. Indeed, despite it being so bad and in your face, the reason we've got this marked as a change you might not have noticed is that it's so obtuse and irrelevant to the context of the scene. A casual fan would be forgiven for thinking this must be an original feature, as it looks so dated and adds so little to the sequence that it couldn't possibly have been inserted deliberately 28 years later. Except it was. Number 9, Vader's Shuttle, The Empire Strikes Back. Towards the wrap-up of the original version of Empire, Darth Vader, a bit perturbed that Luke has slipped through his fingers, angrily storms out of Cloud City and growls for his troops to bring my shuttle. The next time we see him, he's back in the Executor, ready to ensnare the damaged Millennium Falcon. However, Lucas clearly thought that Vader demanding his troops fetch his shuttle and later being seen on his Super Star Destroyer just didn't make clear enough what he'd just done, i.e. fly from Bespin, through the sky, into space, and up to his Star Destroyer in the shuttle he just asked the troops to bring. To remedy this for us moronic viewers who totally need our hands holding, in 2011, George Lucas helpfully added in a pointless sequence detailing his Imperial shuttle flying from Bespin up to the carrier, in amongst the thrilling rescue of Luke. Like, literally hard cuts from one sequence to the other, back and forth, mid-dogfight. It's a totally unnecessary scene, filling the audience in on something they already knew and interrupting the flow of a great part of the movie. Why did he do this? Number 8, The Crate Dragon Calls, A New Hope. According to Ben Kenobi, the Sand people are easily startled, and I think he's probably correct about that, not least because he personally has frightened them away with no less than 3 different noises over the years. To start with, let's listen to the second version of his startling sound that was used in the 2004 DVD release. Ooh, a ghostly whistle. It's interesting and eerie for sure, but given that this is meant to be an imitation of a creature called a crate dragon, the giant skeleton of which we see as 3PO traverses the Tatooine desert, something with more of a growl might have been better, maybe? Something like, oh, I don't know, the original sound effect used in 1977. How about that one? But hey, no worries, the 2004 whistling wasn't around for long, as our friend George updated it again for the Blu-ray release, and it was quite something. The Crate Dragon Call, ladies and gentlemen, a howler monkey on a karaoke machine. Number 7, Slave One's Pursuit, The Empire Strikes Back. While The Empire Strikes Back is comparatively light on retroactive changes, it's not without some pretty ruinous adjustments. Chief among them is a CGI slot of Slave One tailing the Millennium Falcon that was added into the scene where Han evades the Imperials by hiding his piece of junk as a piece of junk. It's a short moment, but the extra focus in a pretty slight scene greatly reduces the tension around the gang's presumed escape and subsequent bombshell that they've been successfully tracked. Worse than that though, Boba is shown following so close behind the Millennium Falcon that it seems Han's already got some preemptive hibernation blindness or something. What is going on here? Number 6, Eyebrows, Return of the Jedi. Poor Sebastian Shaw. His role in Return of the Jedi as the unmasked Darth Vader may have been pivotal, but tragically it's been gradually weakened over the years since release. Most notable, of course, as we've already mentioned, is his replacement by Hayden Christensen as a Force ghost. Lucas's subsequent defense that this was the last light side version of Anakin that lived completely passes by Vader's last-minute redemption, which is the point of the saga, a moment that he'd already messed with in a wholly more bizarre way. Welcome to Eyebrowgate. When Georgie Porgy realised that if Anakin was burnt alive, he'd probably be totally bald, it was off with the brows. Just like that. I mean, I don't dispute that his underlying reasoning for this makes sense, but it's just such a minor detail that it was hardly worth the effort, especially when there are some far more glaring continuity errors out there that were never fixed. Number 5. Can you speak bocce? Return of the Jedi. The various alien languages of Star Wars were originally little more than phonetically linked